Hello everyone. In the previous class, I have discussed about the stiffness matrix of truss element. So let us continue with the concept related to the truss. So here we have the derivation of strain matrix and stress matrix for truss element. So in the previous class, I was discussing about the stiffness matrix of truss element, and the stiffness matrix of truss is given by K is equals to AE by LE in the matrix of L square LM minus L square minus LM, LM M square minus LM minus M square minus L square minus LM minus L square LM minus LM minus M square LM and M square. So where L is nothing but it is cos theta, or it is x final, it is final value of x minus of initial value of x divided by length of element. So you can calculate L either straight away with the help of L is equals to cos theta, or you can use the formula L is equals to x final minus x initial divided by length of element, and M is nothing but it is the sine theta, uh, or it is y final, it is final value of y minus of initial value of y divided by length of element. So you can use this matrix or the stiffness matrix of truss element for the numericals. So in the previous class while discussing, so here there is a slight correction. So L is equals to it is cos theta sine theta 0 0 0 0 sine theta cos theta. So here it is not the sine but it is cos theta sine theta, or it is Lm 0 0 0 0 Lm. So to continue with this, let us have the strain displacement matrix, strain matrix and stress matrix for truss element. So we know that strain is given by B is equals epsilon is equals to B into Q, and in local coordinate system you can write epsilon as B into Q dash, where Q dash represents the displacement vector in local coordinates, and B is strain displacement matrix for one dimensional element, or you can consider it as a truss element in local coordinate system, where B is equals to 1 by length of element in the matrix of -1 and +1. And we also know that the q dash, to convert from local coordinates to global coordinate, so you can write q dash is equals to L into Q. So epsilon is equals to B, L and Q. So where epsilon is, so a strain is epsilon is equals to B into L into Q. It is B into Q dash, as Q dash is L into Q. So we can write epsilon is equals to B into L into Q. So we know for one-dimensional bar element, strain displacement matrix is 1 by length of element in the matrix of -1 +1, and transformation matrix is given by Lm 0 0 0 0 Lm, and the displacement vector in global coordinate system for a truss element is Q1 Q2 Q3 Q4. So therefore, if you multiply these two matrices, so epsilon will get it as 1 by length of element -1 minus L minus M Lm, and multiplied with the global displacement vector consisting of Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. So here the term 1 by length of element minus L minus M Lm represents B, or it is strain displacement matrix for a truss element with respect to global coordinates. And Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 is the displacement factor with respect to global coordinate system. So it is a strain matrix, that is epsilon is equals to B into Q is a strain matrix. And to find this stress, you can just multiply the strain with the Young's modulus of the material of the member. So sigma can be written as E into B into Q. So in order to solve the numericals related to truss element, we need to have the stiffness matrix of truss. We need to have the strain matrix, which is epsilon is equals to B into Q, where B is given by 1 by length of element in the matrix of minus L, minus M, Lm, and Q is nothing but the displacement vector with respect to global coordinate. And to calculate this stress value, we can just multiply the Young's modulus of the material with the strain value. So let us start with the numerical. So one of the numerical here is analyze the truss shown in figure for axial forces using finite element method. So Here uh, it is two element truss. It is, there are two links in the truss element. So link 1, it is between node 1 to node 2, and link 2 is between node 2 to 3. And this link is completely fixed. It is not a link, but this end it is completely fixed. So there are two elements in the truss. It is a two element truss consisting of three nodes: node 1, node 2, node 3. So the area of the first link is 50 mm square, and the length of the this diagonal link is 1000 mm, and area of the second link is 40 mm square, with the corresponding length is 800 mm. So there is a force which is acting at node number 2 in y direction, in negative y direction, of magnitude 1000 newton. So the Young's modulus of material of the both the links is 2 into 10 to the power of 5 Newton per mm square. So here it is the given data. E is equals to 2 into 10 to the power of 5 megapascal. A1 is 50 mm square, L1 is 1000 mm, A2 is 40 mm square, L2 is 800 mm. So we have to solve the problems in a similar way as that of the bar analysis of bar. So similar to that, we will follow the same 6 steps. That is, first is finite element model or discretization of the given problem. Then where you have to represent the number of nodes, their degree of freedom, their displacements, and whatever the forces which are acting at that particular element. And the second step is to have the stiffness matrix of the element. And third step is to have the global stiffness matrix. And fourth step is to have the formulation of the overall equilibrium equation. And fifth is to apply the boundary condition. And finally, we have to find out the unknown parameters in terms of displacement, strain, stresses. So here, as I said, there are three nodes: node 1, node 2, node 3. Node 1 can either displace along x direction and y direction, so the corresponding displacements are q1 and q2, meaning that there is a force along uh, x direction, that is F1, and also along y direction, which is F2. Similarly, there may be force along x direction and y direction at node number 2, so they are F3 and F4, and corresponding displacements may be q3 and q4. And at node number 3, the displacements may be q5, q6 along x and y direction, and the corresponding forces may be f5 and f6. So we have to clearly here, in addition to this, we have to give the nodal coordinate data and element table data. So in addition to the formulation of the elements and nodes, we have to give their coordinates in terms of nodal values and in terms of element value. So please try to understand. So the nodal coordinate data, so is shown here. So this particular problem consists of three nodes, that is node 1, 2, 3. So here node number I have written it as 1, 2, 3, and its x coordinate value, its y coordinate value. So if you are considering node 1, so here is the axis, global axis. So node 1, definitely, as we are starting its coordinate at this location, definitely the coordinates of node 1 will be 0, 0. And when you look at node number 2, it is displaced around 800 mm. Is it 800 mm along x direction? It is at a distance of 800 mm from x, and at a distance of minus 600 mm, along y direction. So the coordinates of node 2 will be 800 comma minus 600. Similarly, when you look at node number 3, so there is no change in x coordinate. Definitely both node 1 and node 3 are at the same location. So x will be 0 and y will be minus 600. So the coordinates of node 3 will be 0 and minus 600. So in addition to this, we have to form the element connectivity table. So here, as the continuum is consisting of two elements, the element 1 and element 2. So here we have to get the data in terms of element number. For that particular element, what is the initial node and final node, and then we have to write here the length of that particular element, And direction cosines in terms of L and M. As I said, L is equals to cos theta, or it is x final minus x initial divided by length of element, and M is equals to sin theta, or it is y final minus y initial divided by length of element. So looking at element number 1, its starting node is node number 1 and final node is node number 2. So I have to write here the initial node is 1 and final node is 2. So what is the length of this element? So the length of element is 1000 mm. So 1000 mm. So the direction cosine will be L is equals to x final minus x initial divided by length of element. So x final, the final value of x. So it is the coordinates of node 2, x value. So it is 800 minus of initial value of x, so which is 0. 800 minus 0 divided by length of element, which is 1000. So this comes out to be 0.8. Similarly, if you calculate m value, that is y final minus y initial divided by length of element. So it is minus 600 minus 0 divided by 1000. So it will be minus 0.6. Similarly, if you calculate for element number 2, its initial node will definitely be 2 and final node will be 3. So node number 2 and 3 I have written here, and then the length of that particular element is 800. And if you calculate the initial and final values, that is L is equals to x final and x initial divided by LA. So x final for element 2 is node number 3. So the coordinates of node 3 x value is 0. 0 minus of 800 divided by 800, which will be minus 1. And final this value minus 600 minus of minus 600, that is minus 600 plus 600 divided by 800, which will be 0. So therefore the we got the element table data here. Element 1 is having L value as 0.8 and M value as minus 0.6, and element 2 is having L value as minus 1 and M value as 0. So the second step is to formulate the elemental stiffness matrix. So we have already have this stiffness matrix of truss with respect to global coordinate. So the elemental stiffness matrix is given by this. So there are two elements. So we have to have the two stiffness matrices corresponding to element 1 and element 2 in terms of K1 and K2. So I have written here. So area of the first element as 50 mm square, length is 1000 mm, and Young's modulus is this. So if you substitute the values and also the L and M of element 1, that is 0.8 and minus 0.6, you will get a matrix of 4 by 4. And as it is connected between node 1 and 2, element 1 is connected between node 1 and 2, and their degree of freedom are Q1, Q2 and Q3, Q4. So there are 4 degrees of freedom for this particular element. So for this reason, we have to write here on the top of this matrix as 1, 2, 3, 4, that is corresponding to degree 1, degree 2, degree 3, degree 4. Similarly, here also it is 1, 2, 3, 4. And for element 2 also, you have to write the area, length and Young's modulus. Then substitute the value of A2, L2 and D, and also the L and M value, that is direction cosines. So for element 2, they are minus 1 and 0. So if you substitute here, definitely you will get a matrix of this type. And as it is connected between node 2 and 3, element 2 is connected between node 2 and 3. So the degree of freedoms are Q3, Q4 and Q5, Q6, Q3, Q4 and Q5, Q6. So for that reason, we have written here 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. So next step is to formulate a global stiffness matrix. So that is summation of K1 plus K2. So if you consider globally, it is a 6-degree freedom problem. So definitely there will be 6 degrees of freedom, meaning that there will be 6 by 6 matrix. So a 6 by 6 matrix, empty 6 by 6 matrix is to be considered first. And on the top of this, you have to write it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in column also, you have to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For both the matrix, 10 to the power of 4 is common. So you have to write 10 to the power of 4. So we have to search for each entity of the matrix separately. That is 1 cross 1. It is there in K1. Its magnitude is 0.64. So you have to write 0.64. You have to search for 2 cross 1. 2 cross 1 is there in K1, which is minus 0.48. So I have to write minus 0.48. Similarly, 3 cross 1, 4 cross 1, 5 cross 1, 6 cross 1, 1 cross 2, 2 cross 2, 3 cross 2, 4 cross 2, 5 cross 2, 6 cross 2. So like this, you have to form a global stiffness matrix. And globally, there are 6 degrees of freedom problem. So definitely, global displacement vector will be consisting of 6 terms. They are Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, Q5, and Q6. And if there are 6 displacements, definitely there will be 6 forces acting along those degrees of freedom. So the force vector will be F1, F2, F3, F4, F5, and F6. So when you write the overall stiffness matrix, so global stiffness matrix multiplied with global displacement vector is equals to the global force vector. So looking at the force values, I will show here. So in the figure itself, so there is no force at node number 1. So F1 will be 0, F2 will be 0. And there is a force at node number 2, but it is acting in y direction. So Q3, F3 will be 0 and F4 will be having a magnitude of 1000 Newton. But the direction of this force is in the negative direction of y. So the force will be along Q4 direction and it will be having a magnitude of minus 1000 Newton. So all other values will be 0. So they are uh, corresponding to F1, F2, F3, they are 0, and F4 will be minus 1000 Newton, F5 will be 0, F6 will be 0. And now, looking at the problem, node 1 and node, looking at the problem, node 1 and node 3 are completely fixed, meaning that the displacements Q1, Q2 are 0, and Q5 and Q6 are 0. So if you apply the boundary condition, elimination method, definitely the value of Q1 and Q2 are 0 and also Q5 and Q6 are 0. So eliminate the corresponding row and column, that is first row, first column, second row, second column, fifth row, fifth column, and sixth row, sixth column. And after elimination, we left out with a 2 by 2 matrix, which is 10 to the power of 4 in the matrix of 1.64 minus 0.48 minus 0.48 and plus 0.36 multiplied with the displacement Q3, Q4 is equals to the force vector 0 and minus 1000. If you solve these two equations in a calculator or by manual method, you will get the displacement Q3 as minus 0.133 millimeter and Q4 as minus 0.455 millimeter. And the nodal displacement vector is therefore Q is equals to 0, 0. They are corresponding to Q1, Q2, and Q3, Q4 values are this, and Q5, Q6 are again equals to 0. So like this, you have to solve the problem related to stress. So this problem it is dedicated to only the displacements, and you can also find the strain value and stress value for this problem, but it is not there. So I will continue this another problem in the next lecture.